Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to Unit Lost. I am Stylosa, and let's talk about the competitive attitude, the sort of attitude you need to take into Overwatch competitive play. Now, I've been seeing a ton of comments across Reddit, across the official forums, on Twitter, even on the videos that I've been uploading onto the channel, where people are moaning about other players not actually taking it seriously when they play competitive. Now, this might come off as a try-hardy sort of attitude, but that's exactly what competitive is. Competitive is a game mode that you go into with one goal, and that goal is to win. You don't go in there to mess around. You don't go in there to, like, have a, do a silly team strategy, 5 Winstons or whatever. You go in there to win. So that means you don't just go in there and repeatedly play Genji over and over and over again when your team already has a Genji or 3 Genjis or 4 Genjis. You have to be flexible. When you go into competitive, you need to be in that competitive mindset. Overwatch is a team-based game, right? We all know this, guys. You need to be able to fill in roles and help the team push towards a point. I've gone over this in multiple videos, but imagine if your team is getting stuck at a choke point. Let's say the first point on Hanamura on attack. You need to push through there. You're playing a Soldier 76. You can't really get through. Why don't you play a Reinhardt? It doesn't matter if you've already got a Winston or if you've even already got a Reinhardt. 2 Reinhardts could actually break the point. That's the sort of mentality you need. You also need to not be toxic. I don't really know how to say this. Like, I know I've got quite a large following with the Overwatch community, and I really just want to say, please do not be toxic to your team. Don't tell people, call them out because they've made a bad decision. The fact is, they're in a game with you. They're the same skill level as you, so you should not be taking the piss out of them and abusing them, thinking that you're better than them, because that's going to hurt their morale, and they're going to just perform worse, and you're probably going to lose. So this idea of having a competitive attitude is something which I didn't really think I'd need to speak about. I used to play a lot of competitive sports back in the day. I used to play football a lot, and I played at a fairly high level, and I was the captain of every team that I played in, and we always went out to win. You don't go out to lose, you go out to win. Sometimes that means you need to do a job. Maybe the other team has an exceptional player, so you'd need to man mark that player. So instead of me playing my usual game, I'd have to just follow this guy around and make sure he can't play his game. In my opinion, that would be a boring game for me, but it makes the team win. And that's exactly what Overwatch competitive is. And this is the sort of attitude that I want to push out there, and I want you guys to sort of get into when you go into competitive, because it is not quick play. There is now a clear divide in what's going on with the Overwatch community. You've got quick play where you can go in and you can mess around. You can just stubbornly play that one hero. You know what I think about having a main in Overwatch, and I'm just going to clarify this one more time. But a main, everybody has a main, yeah? You're better with other characters. You should have multiple mains when it comes to Overwatch, to be fair. But the whole point I was putting across with that idea was the people who just play one character. I've seen people go, oh yeah, well, Sty, you've moaned about people who are like a level 180, and you're saying that, oh, they're not as good as somebody who's level 20, but they must be. The thing is, they may have only just played Genji for 60 hours. They have no idea how the other characters even function. So they're in no position to tell other people what to do. So you cannot go into competitive with that frame of mind. You can't go into it thinking, right, I'm a really good Genji, and this is all I'm going to do. Now, there is an exception to this, obviously. If you have a full 6-man stack, and there is a guy who only plays, I don't know, Widowmaker, then that guy will be playing Widowmaker, because the rest of the team will be built around that, because you want to play to your strengths. The problem is, when it's competitive, when it's like solo queue or duo queue, or you're queuing with random people, you need to be flexible. You're not always going to be able to get in there and say, oh, I'm going to play this character, because somebody else might want to play that character, or they might actually be pretty good with that character. I mean, another issue is you can't sit down and have a chat before the game starts and go, yeah, I've done this, I know that. You literally do not know each other. So you've got to be flexible, really, really flexible. But you also need that winning mentality, that mentality of, we're not going to lose, I'm not going to mess about, I'm going to try my absolute best. I mean, that is a thing as well. When you get into competitive, when you click to join the competitive game, you are joining to play at your absolute peak, the best you can do. You are not going in there thinking, oh, my dinner might be ready in 5 minutes, or, oh, I'm also watching a stream at the same time. That is not what you do. You're in, and you're in there to give everything you've absolutely got. This is like a pep talk. You go in, everything you've got, you need to try your absolute best. You need to be flexible. You need to work with your team. You need to communicate with your team. Now, this might sound like I'm going way over the top here and just like going a bit crazy, I guess, to some of you guys, but that's what competitive is to me, and it'll be different things to you. But I just hope that you can at least think to yourself, that button, when I click that, when I want to join the competitive queue, it means that I am now about to dedicate this time to the game, and I'm going to do as best as I can. I'm going to select heroes that are going to help the team. I'm going to play well. I'm going to help the team with callouts. I'm going to be positive. You're not going to go in there and just be like, well, fuck this, I'm playing this hero and I don't care. You're not going to get toxic when things go bad, because you will lose games in competitive. Because that should be a thing. If the matchmaker's working correctly, you should be playing against people who are of a similar skill. So it means it's going to be close. You don't want a complete setup where you're just whitewashing people over and over again, because that would be boring, right? You need competitive challenge. Now, if you lose, that's fine. Don't go on a mad rant, because it's fine to, it is literally fine to lose. It's okay to lose if you know that you've done your best. If you've tried your best and it's been a good team effort, and that enemy team have maybe used their ultimates a little bit more effectively, maybe a couple of their players shined during the game and they were really well, or they were exceptional, that's fine. You've lost. You go forward. You go forward and you learn from that mistake. That is what you do. It's all about becoming a better player. Try and resist the salt. I mean, I guess this has turned into a bit of a pep talk, as I said a little bit earlier. I just want you guys to go out there into competitive, but fully understand what competitive is about. This isn't quick play anymore. This is, I'm going in there and I am absolutely going to try my best. And that means you're going to be flexible. You're going to help your team. You're not going to be negative. You're not going to be salty. You're not going to be abusive. And you're not just going to give up, because that is the worst. Literally, giving up is the worst thing ever. If I ever play games and there is a guy who just like AFKs or just leaves the game, that is the worst. That is absolutely the worst thing you could possibly do, especially in ranked, because it will just reset the bloody game, which is annoying. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I have been Stylosa. I want you to let me know how you have been finding competitive right now. I know I've gone off on a bit of a rant here, but I just really wanted to get this out there, because there seems to be a massive load of confusion. People not understanding. I mean, it's got the word competitive in the name, right? It means you're going to go out there and try your best. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been Stylosa. You can follow me on Twitter, which is @UnitLostGaming. Do subscribe to the channel, like the video if you do like the video, and stay tuned for more. And I'll catch you next time, people. Toodaloo.